Hello again, and welcome back to my channel. No apologies this time for actually I'm being choked here. No apologies this time for just talking to camera, no editing and whatnot. This is the way it's going to be. You're with me today at the wonderful, although a little bit grey, Derwent Reservoir, which is kind of not far from Concert in the Durham Hills sort of way. So yeah, the plan was to this afternoon. I took an afternoon off work, and the plan was to come here and ride home. And that simple 30-mile round trip bike ride has turned into nearly 100 miles. So I went straight past here, continued to Stanhope, along to Alston, and then did a right, headed back to Hexham, and then through Corbridge, and then along through here. So it's almost going to be a bit of a figure of eight ride when you look at the profile of it, but it's been a fabulous day. It's a bit cloudier than I was expecting, but the temperature's all right. See my bike over there, just parked up. Where is it? There you go. Been brilliant. So I've done 76 miles in one sitting. I've just stopped to stretch my legs. Got about 20 miles to go home. Get my tea. So I said in one of my previous videos I would go into a little bit more detail about the CBT, and I'd read loads about it and how it's not a test and you can't fail in this, that and the other, and blah blah blah. And I think I went into it a bit blasé. I've been driving since 1996. I know the rules of the road. I can drive a car. How hard can it be to transfer that to a bike? Now, I did a full day's training, and then I was asked to return a few days later to do the 2-hour ride assessment, whatever you want to call it, to make sure you can get your license. So the process was, we arrived on the day. I was paired up with a girl with a similar standard to me, never been on a bike before. You know, this was the first time for everything. And we had a basic kind of talk through equipment in the classroom environment, and how important your equipment is and what to look for when buying. And because we'd bought our own equipment with us, he kind of went through our gear and kind of told us yes or no, or what could do with upgrading first, and blah blah blah. So yes, that was the first maybe 20 minutes of just going through the equipment, a few scare stories just to kind of shock you into actually what you're getting yourself into and the potential outcome. I think we all know that, you know, doing this hobby is quite dangerous. But it also comes with such a huge amount of benefits, and just a feeling that you get from nothing else, that I think, you know, we're quite happy to do that. So yeah, so we had the basic classroom, and then we went into the car park, got given a bike, and then we went through the basic maintenance, what should do every week, what you should do every month, a quick run through of what the particular bikes, where the points were of the oil, water if it needed any, this, that and the other, tyre pressures, checking your brakes, chain, all the other bits and pieces that your lights you need to do. So we went through a monthly check and a weekly check, where the fuel goes, where the indicators are, throttle, brakes, etc, and how to control the bike. At that point, when we were comfortable with what the bike, the buttons and all the controls do, we then moved on to sitting on the bike and just getting used to it, and learning sort of throttle control, and slowly pulling away and stopping, and pulling away and stopping. That went on for quite a while, and then we moved on. Once we're kind of confident with that control of the pulling away, we moved on to kind of getting my legs up and up to a speed where you could ride the bike without kind of having the foot down, and that progressed on to sort of just riding around the car park in very straight lines and coming to a safe stop. What the instructor did do is he kind of wandered around the car park and would walk out in front of you kind of testing your reactions and what you would do and your emergency stop and whatnot. So that made it quite fun. All the way through the process, our instructor was very a very relaxed environment. I think many of them are, but he was very relaxed. There was lots of jokes, lots of sarcasm and whatnot as we went along. But to be fair, that helped, because although on the build up to the CBT, I'd read so many articles, I'd watched so many videos about it, and I got to the point the Wednesday before I was doing my CBT on the Saturday, I just said, that's it. I'm starting to get myself a bit anxious and wound up about it, because I'm reading so much and focusing so much. So on the Wednesday before I did my CBT, that was it. I didn't really research into it or do any more kind of reading, because I figured I knew all I could know to the point. But I was still quite nervous on the day. So actually the guys being a bit sarcastic and taking the piss and whatnot, it kind of helped relax you into it. So anyhow, once we'd done the car park session of just riding around, coming to a stop, we were then introduced to kind of cones, figure of eights, again pulling away, doing a figure of eight, coming to a controlled stop. And then we progressed on to doing that, but moving through the gears, so first and second gear, which then introduced the clutch control and the learning how to kind of manage your braking and the clutch and the throttle. So that was quite good. I enjoyed that. And then after that, we moved on to a junction scenario. So you kind of, if you could imagine, it was a T-junction, and they went through the safest positioning and why you should be in that position, and if you weren't in that position, what could happen. It also showed you like positioning in the road when you're approaching junctions and whatnot, and the best place to be. So you explained through that, demonstrated, and then we kind of tried doing that a few times. And then once we got kind of comfortable, kind of coming to a junction, stopping, in first gear, ready to go and pull away, and doing your checks and whatnot, indicators and such like. The instructor then stood at the make-believe junction, and he would call clear or not clear, and the idea was it was to build up your kind of looking and being ready to stop, but also being ready to be in a gear to pull straight away. So if you were rolling to the junction, you had to be ready to either pull away in second if he said it was clear, or be ready to get down in at first and do the procedure ready for a standing pull away sort of thing. So that was good as well. And I think I really enjoyed that. The only thing I struggled with was remembering to turn my indicator off. And on the bike I was using, I was resting my foot on the brake lever for the rear brake, which meant that the brake light was on all the time. So I was being pulled up for that, and maybe that's why he decided to have us back the following day, or the following Monday, to do my assessment. And I think I've said this in previous videos, I'm glad I had, so I did my training on the Saturday and I did my assessment on the Monday. I'm glad I had the Sunday to kind of work out in my head the process and kind of almost. So, and the funny thing is, I was worried that would be something I would have to really focus on, like now when I'm riding by myself. And I did find that on my assessment, that again on the Sunday, I sat down and thought, what do I need to really think about when I'm doing the assessment on the road? And it was the resting my foot on the brake and making sure I cancel my indicators after a turning. And I did that fine. And everything else was it all kind of worked. I think it was meant to be a 2-hour ride, and I think I did about an hour and 40 minutes, and we went back and he said I'd demonstrated everything I needed to do, and it all was good. So I was quite pleased with that. So yeah, the kind of whole CBT was really I actually enjoyed it. And I remember at lunchtime texting my missus and saying, this is like, I'm having such a good day. If I don't get the certificate at the end of the day, I've had a great day as it is. But at that point I was thinking that you would just automatically get it, so I was quite surprised when I didn't get it after the first day. But equally I'm pleased, because I think the extra 2 hours of training was worth it and made me better prepared to go into the actual 2 hours of assessment on the roads on the following Monday. So yeah, so that was a brief rundown on the CBT course. There was also, you know, they went through the highway code and whatnot, which we didn't actually. He said it wasn't. He was more focused on that for new drivers. It's for people who were learning to ride a bike but had never actually been on the road. So he kind of asked us a few questions about road rules and this, that and the other, which we both knew. So we didn't really focus too much on that. It was just the kind of the getting the biking skills up to scratch. So yeah, so that was my CBT. If I've missed anything, and I probably have, by all means, you know, ask the questions in the comments, and I'll respond back to you. And I'm really pleased. I'm getting some lovely messages and comments, and I'm trying to respond to them all. It's really nice that people are watching my videos, and I've had a few suggestions of future videos. When I first got the bike, I kind of went over and detailed it, give it a good, because the day it was delivered and it was test driven in the morning, and the guys had to take it out on the wet roads. So when I received it, it was in mint pristine, you know, brand new condition. But I went through it with some of my detailing products, and subsequently I've found various winterization products for bikes. So I've kind of already applied them, but I might go over, you know, in my garage, I might go over the products I recommend. And, you know, there's various people on different channels that are recommended other products, and so like Lanagard, for example. Now I've used that on my cars and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant on the cars, but it does leave like a waxy residue that attracts like the muck. So for me, if I was using my bike as like an everyday commuter winter hack, then Lanagard might be the way to go. But I decided I didn't want to start putting thick layers of Lanagard on my bike, and it kind of potentially picking up the dust and the dirt, and because it's wax, it kind of like imprints onto it. So with my bike primarily being for like fun, I'm only going to take it out when the weather's good. I didn't think I needed to Lanagard it, but I found another product which I've put on it, which is like it's kind of what you put on after each wash, and it just seals it up and that. So I'll do a video about that. I think that might be quite interesting. And again, I'll go over what I fitted to the bike and how I did it. My previous video about my USB charger, I've kind of resolved that now. I'm using my older iPhone, which charges fine, is a sat nav, and actually the benefit of that is if it does happen to drop off, which it shouldn't because I've got a good mount, it's not my main phone that I'm going to lose. So that's worked out well. But yeah, so I'll probably do some sort of detailing video. I might head home now and do it while it's still light, because the bike is a little bit dirty. Going along some of the farmers' roads, and obviously where there's been floods and puddles on the roads, it's picked up a bit of muck. So I might head home now and do a quick video in the garage. As for security, I would love to tell you what I've got, but I don't. As these videos go on, you know, you might get to see where I live, and I don't really want to be giving information about what security I've got in the garage, just in case, because I know my bike's nothing compared to some of these super bikes and whatnot, but they are known in the area. The kids are nicking them, so I kind of whatever I can keep to myself with security, I think I'm happy with that. Filling up with fuel, that's another good one. I got myself really wound up and a bit nervous about putting fuel in it. First time I did it, I slopped it all over, and I was like, and then I put some in today, no problem at all. I think what it was, I was trying to force the fuel pipe into the little hole in the top of the tank, which has got a bar across it. I'll do a video and show you, but I was trying to force it in there thinking that's where it goes, but then when I was pulling the nozzle, it was hitting the bar and spraying everywhere. So this time I didn't. I had it just like hovering in the tank, and it's gone in no problem. I've done about 170 miles to £8 worth of fuel, which isn't the 120 mile per gallon that the display is currently telling us. However, the bike's quite new. From historically, from having new cars, it normally takes a little time for them to loosen up and get the true miles per gallon. But even so, I mean, I've went from a 3-litre V6 car to this, so you know, the trips I'm having out in this have been all over the day. You know, I would never have done a journey like this in my car because it would have just cost too much, didn't fuel. So, you know, it's just brilliant. And I'm even questioning, for what I need, do I need a bigger bike? You know, everyone's saying, do we need a, you know, are you going to do your next step up and this, that and the other night? Well, I don't know, because I was looking at fuel consumption and insurance and tax and the whole idea of this. It's like a little cheap bit of fun. And once you start going into a bigger bike, you've got the addition. I mean, the insurance for my bike is horrendous. I dread to think of an even faster one would be, just with having no bike experience. But you know, the tax, £25 a year. I was paying more than that a month for my Mondeo. The fuel consumption's great. Yeah, so I'm still open, but I might be in this little bubble. I might still be in a little bubble of, you know, one of the things I found when I first got on the bike was I thought I was flying along. I thought I was going to go into the future. And I looked down, I was doing 34 miles an hour, you know. So it's taken a little bit of time to get used to the speed. Maybe in 6 months' time, a year's time, when I'm used to that, I might be craving a bit more. And then I might think, well, actually, I can justify the expense. But at the minute, this is the whole idea, is I can do little trips. You know, I've driven some of the roads that my mum and dad used to take us when I was a kid, when we used to go out on a Sunday. Driven some amazing roads I've not been on for years. I've been out since 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's now 4 o'clock. It's cost us like £8 in fuel, if that. In fact, no, it's not. That's what I filled up, but that was topping up my previous 2 rides. So it's cost us coppers to have a lovely afternoon out. I mean, what can you do these days that you can spend 4 hours having fun for a couple of quid, 3 or 4 quid, you know? So at the minute, the bike it's totally serving its purpose, and I am questioning, do I need extra speed? But again, as I try to travel further afield, maybe some motorways would be handy, and you know, we'll see. But I can't go on motorways at the minute. But yeah, so I've rambled on for 17 minutes now. So again, I'll just give you a quick at the background. This is a lovely Derwent reservoir. Mum and Dad used to bring me here when I was a kid years ago. Nice little happy place. And subsequently, I now bring my wife and Kitty here, and we have some lovely days out. And then I just thought, right, do you know what it is? I'm going to bring the bike up here too. Where is it? It's just coming into view. Oh, peeping on the wall. So I've had my coffee. I'm going to go now. I'm going to head home. Probably get caught in the rush hour traffic, but never mind. I'm going to head home. Might do a quick detailing video. Probably put this one up first and then hold the detailing one in the bank for the week after or something. But yeah, so I'm going to head off. Thanks for watching again. And you know, again, someone commented, so I can't remember the name, but someone suggested some really good ideas of videos they'd like to see. So thanks for that. And again, there's people noticed the kind of twinkle in my eye with this new bike thing going on, and you know, it's just something that you can only get experience when you've been on a bike. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting, and yes, have a good weekend. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.